Hi, everyone. My name is Faith Anderson, and I'm the Chief of Registration and Regulatory Affairs for the Securities Division of the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to thank the National Whistleblower Center for inviting the North American Securities Administrators Association to speak today. Organized in 1919, NASSA is the oldest international organization devoted to investor protection. NASSA is a voluntary association whose membership consists of 67 state, provincial, and territorial securities administrators in the 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the US Virgin Islands, Canada, and Mexico. In the United States, NASSA is the voice of state securities agencies responsible for efficient capital formation and grassroots investor protection. NASSA members license firms and their agents, investigate violations of state law, file enforcement actions when appropriate, and educate the public about investment fraud. I'm delighted to have two of my NASSA colleagues here with me to discuss state-level securities whistleblower laws and NASSA's Model Whistleblower Award and Protection Act. Lynn Egan is the Deputy Securities Commissioner in the Office of the Commissioner of Securities and Insurance in Montana. And Jason Sterzer is the Director of the Division of Securities for the Utah Department of Commerce. We hope our discussion inspires you to learn a bit more about NASSA, our model legislation, and the important work happening at the state level to encourage and protect whistleblowers. And with that, let's get started. Jason, your state, Utah, was the first to establish a state securities whistleblower program. Would you tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Utah has a whistleblower award program for individuals who provide original information that leads to a successful enforcement action for violations of Utah securities laws, where the action leads to the collection of monetary sanctions over $50,000. The reporter is entitled to an award of up to 30% of the amount collected in the case. And to date, our program has paid out 5 individuals. And let me tell you about one of them. In 2013, at an investor education event, a financial advisor approached our presenter and expressed concern regarding an elderly woman. She had recently come into a large amount of money, and he thought that she had become a victim of investment fraud. His complaint led to an investigation and resulted in an enforcement action and ultimately a criminal conviction. The whistleblower received a $15,000 award. Utah's program, as well as a similar program that existed in Indiana since 2012, served as inspiration for my NASSA colleagues to prepare a model act that other states can use.
Thanks, Jason. Lynn, you spearheaded NASSA's effort to engage stakeholders and prepare the Model Act. In addition, your state, Montana, has already used the Model Act to prepare and enact legislation. In a nutshell, what does the Model Act do, and why was Montana so eager to stand up its own whistleblower program?
Thank you, Faith. As the name suggests, the Model Whistleblower Award and Protection Act provides a state securities regulator with the authority to make monetary awards to whistleblowers and establishes protections against retaliation by employers. We drew from the Whistleblowers Award provisions contained in Section 922 of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010, the SEC's related rules and Regulation 21F, and the whistleblower laws enacted in Indiana and Utah. Depending on the jurisdiction, the act can be adopted as legislation during state legislative sessions or implemented by regulation. The Act's text is available on NASSA's website, which is www.nassaa.org. In short, we wanted a whistleblower program in Montana because it's a win for the secure fraud victims, Montana's families and investors. Before, Montana didn't provide protection for employees in the securities industry who came forward against employers who were defrauding consumers. That lack of protection was a significant issue during hurting Montana's families and perpetrating fraud by bad actors.
Thanks, Lynn. Due to time constraints, I won't ask you and Jason to describe the entire act, but I do want to discuss eligibility and retaliation. Lynn, who is eligible for an award under the Model Act?
So you have to work through a few sections of the act to make that determination. Importantly, Section 3 gives the state securities regulator the authority to make an award to one or more whistleblowers who voluntarily provide original information in writing to the state securities regulator that relates to a possible violation of the state or federal securities laws, including any rules or regulations thereunder that has occurred, is ongoing, or is about to occur, and that leads to the successful enforcement of an administrative or judicial action under the State Securities Act. Section 2 defines the term original information. Section 4 permits a whistleblower to make a complaint anonymously if they are represented by counsel, although their identity must be revealed to the state securities regulator prior to the payment of an award. Lastly, Section 9 contains a fulsome list of individuals who are ineligible for awards.
Thanks, Lynn. Jason, would you describe the Model Act's protections for whistleblowers and internal reporters?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. In the interest of time, I'll give you just the highlights. Section 10 prohibits retaliation against individuals who provide information or assistance to state or other law enforcement agencies, including the SEC, regarding a possible securities law violation under state or federal law, or that make internal reports to a supervisor or compliance personnel. The individual does not have to qualify for a whistleblower award to be protected under Section 10. Section 10 establishes an express cause of action with monetary and injunctive relief available.
That's really interesting, Jason. So NASSA's Model Act goes beyond federal law to also protect people who only make complaints internally. Jason, does NASSA's Model Act differ from the federal approach in other ways?
Yes, and here are two more examples. First, the SEC's whistleblower program has a threshold requirement that monetary sanctions that are imposed and collected in the related action must be in an amount of $1 million or more in order for the agency to be able to pay the whistleblower award. And there's no such requirement under NASSA's Model Act. So somebody with information about a lower level fraud could provide that original information to state securities regulators and be eligible for an award. And second, the SEC's program doesn't reach violations that are exclusively state law violations.
Thanks, Jason. I want to use our time today to also raise awareness of NASSA's newest Model Act, the NASA Model Act to create a restitution assistance fund for victims of securities violations. Lynn, would you tell us about that act?
Absolutely. The Model Act gives states a way to provide financial assistance to victims of securities law violations who are awarded restitution but do not receive full payment. The Act establishes a state securities restitution assistance fund, outlines eligibility requirements for victims seeking restitution assistance, sets payment caps on the amount of restitution assistance awards, prohibits and forfeits awards in certain circumstances, and provides for recovery mechanisms. The text is available on the NASSA's website. The Act draws upon similar legislation in Indiana, Montana, Vermont, Kansas, and Maine. Here in Montana, we have awarded approximately $1.8 million to 134 claimants, and 82% of our claimants were over the age of 60 years old.
Thank you, Lynn and Jason. I hope everyone has enjoyed this discussion as much as I have. I want to close by inviting everyone to engage with NASSA and our members. You can reach out to the staff who work in NASSA's corporate office. Michael Canning is our longtime Director of Policy and Government Affairs, and Vince Martinez joined NASSA in 2020 as our General Counsel following several years at the SEC and the CFTC, leading policy and programming relating to whistleblowers. In addition, please don't hesitate to reach out to NASSA members, including the three of us. To find the contact information for NASSA members, go to NASSA's website and use the Contact Your Regulator tool in the upper right-hand corner of the homepage. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.